It's 6:07 on August 13, 2013. Raleigh Board of Water Commissioners meeting. In attendance on the commissioners are Stuart Dalzell, Tim Toomey, the superintendent here, John Reza, as well as the business manager. First order of business is accept the minutes from 7/31/2013. Any questions? You go through it, John?
Yeah, I did. Cell tower lease agreement. It said, yes, it is part of the original contract. No, sure, that's good.
You should turn that thing on. Okay. So the cell tower lease agreement. So is it part of the original treatment plant construction?
I don't think it is.
Okay, so where do we stand with this? Can we use the cell tower?
It's still in the application process.
So the application is filled out by who?
Part of it's by the company that does the radio work, Sheridan.
Mhm.
So the title page, but I'm not quite sure who should be signing that one.
Okay, so we do have rights on that tower?
Yes.
Okay, so it's a matter of putting the application in.
Yes.
And who's the authority of that tower?
SBA,
SBA?
that's the name of the company.
Oh,
Yeah, SBA.
okay. So that's not going to hinder our progress with the construction or anything?
Not at the moment,
Okay,
I believe.
okay. Any other questions, John?
No.
Stu, did you have any questions?
Excuse me, on the fifth paragraph on the first page, first line, said we, it should be he. Rob went out with the dialogue and we, it should be he. Couldn't find.
Where is this? Oh,
Right there.
he? Okay. You see that, John?
There's a... Oh, okay.
And then we had one of the abatement requests. I asked you to go out and check to see what the flow rate was
Yep.
at that location. Did Rob go out there and do that?
Oh, I did.
How many gallons a minute?
The bucket was about 30 seconds, 5 gallons.
So it's 5 gallons and 30, so it's 10 gallons a minute.
Yeah.
That's quite a bit. So 10 gallons a minute times 48, let's say 50 hours is, what is it?
600 gallons in an hour.
Say 50 hours.
3,000 gallons.
30,000 gallons? What does that equate with our rates? A lot?
So that would be at the
6 times
highest tier, yeah, the
600
19,
an hour.
yeah,
Huh?
That's it again,
yeah.
30,000.
So
It
how
would
many,
be at the $19 rate.
so how many dollars would that,
I don't know, I would have to go
30,000.
down. Well, it has to be tiered,
Yeah.
so it's not straight math.
Well,
Because the
36
first 4,000 gallons.
36,000 is the second tier.
No, but the first 4 are at the 14, and then you have to do the next tier, and I could do that. Want me to go do the math on my machine?
yeah, let's just get an idea. We can't decide on it today because we want to have a full board number, but I want to know what we're dealing with here. So it's 30,000 gallons?
Do you want me to go do it right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, what's the, we talked about the truck in here, and then I'm just wondering, is that all squared away with the truck as far as getting rid of it?
I haven't actually posted it yet,
So you're gonna post the
the
truck?
and the other thing, the
Yeah.
drilling machine,
So what,
the drilling machine, yeah.
we discussed that, but I believe that was put on hold for now.
Oh. But I wanted to do both.
I suggested that, and the other 2 members decided to hold off on it for now.
Okay. Well, I'm waiting for evaluations on the machine.
Yeah, so I
All
think-
3 companies.
Yeah, I wanted you to, yeah, I think we decided to not put it on,
Right.
but you want to get some background on the thing.
Okay.
I believe we waited to see. Wait till after Glenn started, I believe, to see if we could operate it.
It's $525.30.
So 10 gallons a minute, let me see if my math is right, 10 gallons a minute. If we leave the hose running or some spigot running or we got a leak, and then it's open for 2 days, that's roughly, what do we say?
30 to 50 hours is 30,000.
50 hours is 30,000.
Assuming it was full bore, full,
Yeah,
main out of it.
yeah, because at a rate of 10 gallons a minute, it's actually, it's 600 gallons an hour, right? So,
Right.
so we gotta be, we should probably think about putting some kind of a bulletin with the mail, just to give people an idea what that means, you know?
Mhm.
Be very careful about, you know,
Watching.
watch your leaks.
Hi, come on in, Linda.
Yeah.
We have our first appointment here.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna table that issue until the next meeting, until we have a full board. But we're gonna talk about that again, so I wanna put that on as an agenda item on the next meeting. Okay. Maybe we can call it water conservation. Okay, so I make a motion, or Stewie, could you make a motion? Accept the minutes?
I'll accept, excuse me, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of
7:31.
July 31st.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Signed purchase orders. That, this, where is this, right here?
Those are the bills, those are the purchase orders up there.
Purchase orders go first. All right, 8 55-gallon drums, 15% solution of sodium hypochlorite,
Yes,
and they give you, what, a gallon price?
that's a gallon price. Tables.
Okay, you filled it out, John, so what does it say?
It's $1.32 a gallon.
Well, they break it out into the tens, hundreds, thousands, out to the 10,000s. So it's $1.32? So you gotta put a decimal right there, okay? So there's no confusion.
We should be able.
All right, so 8 times 55 is what?
440.
440 times 1.325.
Was that 440?
440 times 1.325. No.
583.
Right on, John. Ball valves.
Is that for the meter setups?
Okay. Your Apollo ball valves. This is just supplies. So he came over and replaced the brake line
Yes,
for $170. That's pretty cheap, isn't it?
it is.
Well, it cost you more than that to tow the truck.
Yeah. Did a good job.
Napa. Battery.
Little dump truck. Charged it up a couple times and it's dead by morning, so pretty well cooked.
So is 121 a good price for a battery?
Let's go for a truck.
Yeah. How many cranking amps did that have, John?
Yeah, usually the minimum is 600, but we can go as high as 800.
Yeah.
It's just a little dump.
Yeah. Yeah, we charged it a couple days in a row. It's dead by morning, so.
And hatch is usually a, stuff that we, normally expend, and it's like an expendable we gotta replace.
Yeah, wait for it.
Okay. SBPISV, Salt Bridge, what's that?
That's the interior portion of one of the PH probes. They've been changed in quite a while. So.
Okay. Okay, so that's done. Why don't we conduct our first interview? Linda,
Yes,
thank you for coming in tonight.
thank you for having me.
Would you like to sit up close here so we
Oh, I
can...
would love to, thank you.
Wait a minute.
So I take it you had like a typing test downtown,
Yes,
and then you got to meet some people down here, right? So,
yes. I have met them before, but yes, I got to see them again, which
Yeah.
is nice.
yeah. If you could just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, I've been a member of the community for over 33 years. The last 10 years I've been in banking. I was sales and service rep, and then I went to a different bank and I was teller. Before that, I was ISO management rep at a plastic injection molding company. And my children are going to stay in this community. It's very important to us what goes on in town, and I think that I would be a valuable asset to the water department. I live less than 2 miles down the street. I don't have small children, so if ever there was a need, I could be available if something happened to stay late or to answer phones. I'm reliable. Customer service is one of my very strong points. And I'm dedicated, and I'm a very good worker, and I work well alone as well as with a team.
Mhm.
And
Okay. So you've got some experience here that'll be valuable to our department. Did they go over what the duties would be? Did you look at the job description?
yes,
Did you have any questions about that?
no, I did not.
On your application, it shows the higher rate. Were you aware that they changed the description?
Yes,
And they changed the rate range for the high and low for it?
yes.
Did you have any requirements on that as far as the wages with the new rate structure? Or?
No, of course I prefer the higher.
Yeah. And you give us a list of references.
Yes.
Have you worked with Excel programs and spreadsheet stuff?
Yes.
John, do you have any questions?
No, actually, that was gonna be my question. Spreadsheet, data entry.
I've worked with them and also, I can learn anything.
Yeah.
I have no problem with that.
Okay.
In banking, I was through 3 systems and we went ISO. I was a major part of that with my job with the ISO.
Okay.
I'm sure that I can learn if I'm not familiar, but spreadsheets, yes, we've had work with them.
Mr. Dalzell, do you have any questions?
No, no, I don't. I had one question, for Linda, you asked it and she answered it, and that was about the, pay range.
When would you be available?
Next week,
Okay. How many years you been in town?
33 plus. And now my children are settling in town, which is perfect.
That's funny, huh?
It is, it's nice.
Yeah. Where are you from originally?
Peabody,
Peabody.
Neil and I went to high school together.
What's that?
Neil and I went to high school together.
Oh, your husband?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I wonder if I know him. I know a lot of people from Peabody.
Sampson Trucking, you must see his trucks around.
Yeah,
You know, Neil,
Stu knows Neil.
only a couple miles up, so.
yeah. No, I mean from years past,
Yeah.
you know.
He was from South Peabody. I was from Wilson
I
Square.
was from South
He
Peabody.
was from South Peabody. Oh, I was on the other side. I was in Wilson Square.
Where is South Peabody?
Going towards Lynn. You must know.
Off of
South
Linfield
Peabody,
Street, you
correct? Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was off of Linfield and Lynn.
Yeah.
Bartholomew Street went right through and it was off of that, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew some friends downtown in the Greek section, you know.
I'm a Peabody Greek.
Yeah. Well, you know, the Greek section was Irish years ago. That's where my grandparents grew up.
It was Greek and Irish, it no longer is, but it was.
Yeah, I know. So it's an interesting neighborhood. You still get the Greek church there.
Yes, yes, it's a beautiful church.
Yeah, it really is. Well, I appreciate you coming in, and, you know, we've got to interview some other people, so
Certainly.
I'll let you know as soon as we can hash it down. Thank you very much for coming
Wonderful,
in.
thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Steve.
Thank you, Linda.
Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. Thank you.
Take care, Linda.
Okay, so we want to go to the building commitment. Help me out here, John.
That one, isn't it?
This one here? No, this is,
Yeah.
okay, you're right. Okay, so let me go through here. Okay, so is this the first billing commitments since the rates increased?
Yes.
Would it be too much trouble to, do an average of the totals in the future, or can you do that on the spreadsheet, or is that something that's hard to
Average
do?
of what totals?
The total bills, the average bill for Raleigh,
Sure, I can do that for you.
yeah. That's what I was thinking, we could just kind of get our hands around an average bill. Are we looking at a statistic like that, John? Or is that kind of gonna lead us down to a path that can be kind of confusing, or,
I don't know, I mean, there's big and small users,
but don't some of these outfits, produce average bills, what their average bill is and stuff?
Yeah, you can, sure.
Do other people, other communities or water departments do that? I'm just wondering.
Yeah. I'd have to look on one of their websites and see if there's a, community average.
What do you feel, Laura?
So, when I looked at this particular run, the average person was being increased by 32%. That was the average.
Yeah.
I looked at, 31 people out of this group were averaging more than 4,000. I mean, like, some of the bills were crazy. I had to take them out. Irrigation, filling pools, we're working with a few people right now. We're doing some more data loggers, trying to figure out what's going on at their houses.
So this
It
is,
didn't look unusual. We pumped 15 million gallons of water. We pumped 15 million last year. And the commitment went up 33%. And that's what we said we were gonna do. So, but people within this, I have our usage report here. The first guy on Allen Street is up 118%. So, we're working with certain people and seeing what's going on at their house. I looked at yours is, less than the average. So, so maybe some people were away, during that month, I don't know.
I told them not to take baths over
You
there.
told them not to take that, so,
Showers. Go on.
Well,
No,
you remember July was 90s. So
yeah, we had a couple of hot days in there.
We had a couple of weeks of real hot weather, so.
how many real strange situations we got going on with this?
Right now, I have a 31.
31?
I know who they are.
And they're not on this commitment?
They're on that commitment, sure.
Okay,
I mean, we have to figure out, did they use the water or they didn't?
okay,
I mean, I just can't assume they didn't use it.
right. So they're really kind of startling figures, huh?
Yeah, you can see that some people's
Yeah.
bills are in,
Okay,
big neighborhoods there.
yeah.
While we're on the subject of bills, I had a complaint. Here we are, for the last meeting to send out shut-off notices. And one resident called me, they have not received a bill in 2 months. And they called Laura, and she said when there's a credit, they don't send a bill. But I think whether they have a credit or not, they should have a statement every month to know where they stand.
So we were trying to say, I know exactly who you're talking about. I talked to that individual today. And I told her that I would send her a personal bill. We're trying to save money on postage. I had a gentleman today pay me for the whole year already. So he knows he's not gonna get a bill, but he knows he can call me and I'll send him it. So some people want it and some people don't, I guess, so, I could tell you how much it's gonna be, and then you guys can tell me if you wanna continue to do that. Right now, I have 293 people that did not receive bills, times 30 cents. So,
293 people didn't
that,
receive.
because they have credits.
They-
A lot of
they-
people,
A lot of people overpay, they
a lot of people do give us
Right.
money.
came in one day and paid his
Okay.
bill and it was $50 more than the bill.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
And he just says, I like credit, he says, put it on my
He
credit.
had some money and he gave it over because he didn't want to deal with it.
So I guess it, you know, everybody's needs are different, Stu, and it's a pleasure of the board. I mean, I'm happy to, we were trying to save money. So we had one of those 293 people so far. And I've been here for 2 years.
So how do you hold up a bill or not send a bill? Isn't it all
It's all
automatic?
it's all programmed. It's all programmed that way. So
So
I
you
would
can-
have to so then everybody, it's either or everybody
So
or
in other
none.
words, let me think, see if I got this right. So you have the option of not having to send a bill. There's an option of anybody with a credit doesn't need to get a bill. Is that what you're saying?
That's always been the policy of the
Okay.
water department.
All right.
But people, an individual, I can mail bills right from my office.
Yeah,
So I'm happy, I told her I didn't know she wanted a bill. Next month, she will get a bill because she doesn't have a credit anymore, so she'll get a bill anyway.
yeah, no.
You know,
I think
so-
that they've gone down this path before, so maybe we shouldn't mess with it at this point. Maybe we ought to see if there's any more calls coming. I don't know, what do you think?
We can think about it.
We're also, Stu, working with the software online to be a live system at Unibank where anybody can go in every day. It'll be a 24-hour system and look at your bills. So you can see a credit or you can see that you owe us money.
Okay.
And I'm gonna be presenting that to the board. There's a initial fee for that, but I think the treasurer's office and the light department are probably gonna go with it. And I think it'd be good for us to go.
I think
So
it's a great
anybody-
idea.
Anybody can look online, and the computers will automatically talk to one another.
Yeah,
So,
and it'll get people more comfortable with dealing with computers to pay their bills and everything else.
right, so you can go into your account and see
Okay.
it. We're not quite there as a town yet.
Under new business, I have a question, Mr. Chairman.
I think we have our next appointment here. Just one. Hi, we're gonna be just a minute. You wanna come in a minute, or?
That's fine.
John, did you call Dig Safe for the town common?
Actually, the guy came in the other day and said that he wanted to call it, so
That's for the trees, John. This is for what the water department, Mr. Martin, Tim, Oyerika, last year agreed to provide some spigots on the common for the new trees.
right.
So the water department would be calling Dig Safe, not the tree. There's nothing to do with the tree, the contractor for the trees.
Right, but it covers, all the utilities when someone calls. So we-
No, it does
we'd be
not.
marking it anyway.
No, it does not, John. Every single contractor has to call and have his own number. You cannot dig into somebody else's number.
Okay. But they can
Well, Rob usually handles that. Now, do we know that Rob did not or did call it in, or did he call it in the last 30 days, or, these things gotta be called in and then they die after. Is it a 30-day period now?
I think it's a 30-day window.
When is it
Let them call them now.
in your plans to start?
Actually, we were just looking at that with Glenn yesterday.
I should think the neatest way to do it, because it'll be shallow piping, because it'll be, take the compressor and blow it out in the fall,
Yeah,
like the cemetery.
yeah.
I would think the neatest way would be to ditch witch, go right around there, not make a mess looking back there.
Right.
Be nice to have the spigots in before they start the trees. We have a dry fall.
Okay, so. Next candidate,
Come in, I think they're ready now. Great. Come on. Let's sit right up front there.
Sure. How you doing? My name is Tim Toomey. You're Carmine?
Yes, I am.
Who's your Carmine?
Nice to meet you, Stu Delzo.
Thank you for coming in tonight.
You're welcome. Pleasure meeting you guys.
Short notice. So right now you work at AAA Constable Service? and-
Correct.
And then the law office of Cohen and Sales.
Yes.
What's that like?
Pretty interesting work. You deal with all kinds of individuals, delivering court papers and
Subpoenas.
convictions, subpoenas, divorce notices.
Yeah,
Sometimes they're in hand, most of the time they are.
Yeah.
So you can get a little hairy sometimes, but you know,
yeah,
it's close to the territory.
yeah.
So
And then you were working recently at H&R Block.
yes,
So what did you do for H&R Block?
I actually ran the Lynn office on Market Street, right across from the City Hall there in Lynn. I did all the HR, hiring, firing, scheduling, payroll, and I had to be certified in tax preparation as well. That was a requirement of the job, so it was an extensive test that I did have to take for that. And so, you know, I dealt with, you know, people on a, you know, everyday basis, and, you know, irate people sometimes, you know, wanting their refunds and thinking that, you know, is my check here? Because we used to print checks and off our computer system for people. But they would think that, you know, because we prepared the taxes, the money was there the next day, and it was, you know, sometimes you have people coming off the street very irate and
Sure.
wanting their money, and so we could kind of.
So you've got good people skills.
Yeah. I speak 4 languages, so that helps. You know, sometimes you know, you speak them in their language, and that was one of the reasons I was hired down in Lynn, because of the, you know, the language barriers, and also as well as the security issues. I guess the staff there wanted someone who would, you know, make them feel a little secure, because, you know, you have, you know, different types of people walking through the door that,
Yeah,
you know, could be a little, you know, intimidating for the workers.
sure.
Lots of women there, and so, but, yeah, you know, like I said, I was primarily an HR person there that, you know, handled their duties of scheduling and making sure everything ran correctly, and, you know, reconciling the funds at the end of the evening, and making sure everything matched. That's pretty much it. It's pretty busy. We did over like, I think it was 3,500 tax returns, that year, so we're pretty busy.
Sounds like a fast-paced outfit.
It was.
You said you speak several languages. What languages do you speak?
Well, my family's Italian, so I speak Italian. Spoke in the home growing up. I took Spanish in college. My wife is from Canada, but her family's from the Dominican Republic, so I kind of kept my Spanish sharp over the
Oh.
years. And,
Interesting.
yeah, and you know, Portuguese. I have a lot of Brazilian friends and can understand certain dialects in
Sure.
Portuguese, so.
When did you, your family actually speak both languages when you were growing up?
Yes, I actually I grew up in the north end of Boston.
Oh, really?
And we lived with all four grandparents lived with us in the same apartment, back in the day. Occasionally my grandparents would go back to Italy and come back and forth, but, we primarily grew up together.
Sure.
Yeah, so.
I was just reading an article today about how the kids should start speaking a second language when they're like under 4 years old.
No, it's important. I think it's,
Yeah.
it's definitely an asset, I've had family in the water sewage business. The companies, they've been retired for a few years. It was called Great Northern. It was called, they did work for many, many years. It was my uncle, and my dad was a bricklayer for like 47 years in the union. He retired in 2007, so,
Yeah.
so.
So this position is an administrative assistant, be working under both John, the superintendent.
Yeah.
This is John Reza, and
Yes.
this is Laura Hamilton, she's the business manager.
That's
Yeah.
And so, you want to talk a little bit about his potential duties here, John?
Or, as far as data entry, bill posting, that sort of thing.
Yeah, handling the phone, water breaks,
Sure.
working with customers.
Customer service.
It's kind of down my alley, so as far as externally dealing with people, as well as internally with, co-workers. I was at Fidelity Investments for a while, and I was a IT person at the customer service expert, internal employees wanting to know, video conferences, audio conferences, and I would hook them up with that, and so pretty much have that skill set.
Oh, good, so you got IT skills.
Yeah, I do. Of course, you have to keep fresh on that as far as, the IT stuff, but as far as like, Microsoft platforms, applications, we use them every day, my reports and,
Yeah, good.
you know.
About accounting experience.
Like I said, I was a tax preparer, required to do a minimum of 50 tax returns. Because I was so busy with my other tasks, I did manage to do my 50, but the average was about 400 for a tax preparer. But because I was a manager there, it was almost impossible to do more than that.
Sure.
But I did get an experience. I do the easier tax returns. I didn't do anything too complicated. It was the first time getting into that. So.
So you have an associate's degree in communications too.
Correct.
So what's the communications degree like?
Well, my aspirations at the time, started off as criminal justice and ended up transferring credits over to a communications certification, in broadcasting. And I don't know if you guys know Billy Costa. He's a good friend of mine. At the time when I met him back in the 80s, he was encouraging me to enter that field as far as radio and television, and kind of never panned out. That's a difficult field to maneuver in. So that's how I ended up getting into that communications background stuff. So, broadcast journalism, writing skills. It's something you can use in any particular job, basically, and So.
You get a lot of different credentials here.
Yes.
Do you have any more questions, John? Stewie, do you have any questions?
If the board voted to hire you, Carmine, when would you be able to start?
as soon as you guys need me, I'm pretty flexible with the people I work for, because it's pretty much, it's been an on-call type of thing lately, so it's not an issue at all. I'm pretty friendly with those guys.
You familiar with the, oh, sorry, Stu, are you familiar with the pay rate?
I do have the posting right here.
Because we changed that, it's 14.44 to 16.04.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Okay. I'm sorry, Stu, go ahead.
You just told Carmine, yeah, that the pay grade was changed.
Yeah.
I think that's all I have to say.
If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. I think we might have forgotten, so.
Where would your pay requirements be, Cameron?
Obviously, like the temporary towards the, middle to high range of that somewhere. I'm a pretty fair guy, so I'm pretty flexible with that.
Okay, and then, since you'd be working directly for Laura, do you have any questions?
I just would like to know, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Is this a position that you can see yourself in?
Definitely something that I look forward to, growing into it and expanding myself, obviously, and then, working hard and diligently to prove my worth. And then obviously, I consider myself a hard worker, so I'd like to, obviously move up, like everybody else, and try to make a name for myself.
Okay, good.
Do you have any questions, Carmine, that we might be able to answer for you? Do you have any,
At the present, I do not, but if I'm sure if I come up with anything, I can always reach
Yeah.
out.
yeah,
Yeah.
and where do you live now?
I live in Middleton. Been there since 2002.
Uh-huh.
Like I said, I migrated north end to Medford to Wakefield and ended up in Middleton. So.
You're heading this way, huh?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for coming.
It was my pleasure. Again, Commissioner, great to meet you.
Pleased to meet you.
Commissioner.
Carmine, it's nice to meet you, and thank you for coming in.
Thank you all.
You have a good evening.
Yes, thank you. You too.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. Yeah, definitely. We'll be in touch. Okay. Okay. Tim Leslie's here now.
Hi, Leslie. My name's Tim Toomey. Pleased to meet you.
Hi, Leslie. How are you?
Sorry, John.
Doesn't.
Have a seat. Well, thank you for coming in tonight. We've been trying to fill this position for a while.
Yes.
Appreciate your time tonight. So obviously, if you're from Raleigh, and you know what the position is and what the requirements are, and have any questions about that?
It's administrative assistant. I would assume that it would involve sending out bills, doing invoices, answering the phone, being here. It also includes taking minutes, I believe, for meetings.
Yeah, it's easy because we're on tape now, and so you look at the video and then you put the minutes together from the tape. So it gets kind of detailed after a while. So our minutes have grown a little bit as of late. So, we have a lot of calls come in during the day, and Laura's been doing most of that, but we have some temporary help, but we need some help to get on top of that and, handle the calls. And typically what kind of calls you get is, somebody might be upset about their bill, or, they might have a water leak, and, some procedural things here that you work with both John and Laura. He'll be reporting to Laura, and John will be overseeing the whole department, the superintendent. And what experience have you had in the past?
I've mostly been on the professional end. I have not been an administrative assistant, but I've done all the pieces of it. I've taken notes at department meetings, I've done data entry, I've created invoices. I did work as the library director for a couple of years. Of course, everything wasn't computerized back then. We did it by hand. I processed payroll, ordered supplies, that sort of thing. Process bills.
So you went to West Virginia.
Yeah.
Wow.
Leslie, are you aware that the pay grade has been changed?
Yes, I wondered.
Went from pay grade 7 to a 5, I believe.
Yes, I did see that.
Yeah. What would your salary requirements be?
I'm open. This would be a new thing for me, so it would be nice to start to step up. But,
Yeah.
but I also am aware, having lived here, I know how budgets go, so.
You have a master's degree too?
Yes.
Wow. University of Pittsburgh, huh?
Mm-hmm.
What do you have the master's in?
Library science.
Oh, I see. MLS is Master of Library Science. Okay.
Correct.
What's your bachelor's in?
Theater.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Good for you. Plus we use Microsoft Word and Excel. We have other databases here for data entry. We have a billing program,
Okay.
which will be helping Laura out. And then it's just the day-to-day things that go on here. It gets kind of wild sometimes because a lot of stuff could be an emergency and stuff. So,
Right.
John, do you have any questions?
Yeah, there's always the data entry thing, if you're familiar with that. Like posting bills electronically
Mm-hmm.
and creating invoices and that sort of thing.
Whatever I don't know, I'm willing to learn on my own time, necessarily.
Okay.
Still?
I have no further questions. Leslie's very well, very, very well qualified. All three are very strong candidates we have interviewed tonight.
Laura, do you have any questions?
No, I think she answered everything.
Okay.
I-
Okay, well, thanks Leslie for coming by. Do
No,
you have any questions? I mean,
I wondered if there was an actual job description
yeah.
other than
Other than the
the
posting?
posting, yeah.
Is there another?
I didn't receive one yet myself, Leslie.
Okay.
I know they redid it, so the one that I have is the old one.
Yes,
John,
do you-
did you receive a new job
No,
description?
no one, no.
Yeah, Stu worked on that a little bit, so did you?
Yeah. It wasn't on the website.
Did you walk out
I
of
looked on the
the-
website. I couldn't
Pay
find it.
grade?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
when you went down to go through the changing of the description, did you come out of there with, you know, when they were gonna come up with their description, a formal description for the position?
I wasn't in on that, but the personnel board did that,
Okay.
and they lowered the requirements this way, dropped down
Right.
2 pay grades, 2 grades.
Well, there's a, I'm seeing the old one, but it wouldn't be applicable right now, so. I think you know, if you receive an offer, maybe just ask us, and maybe we can get one that's put together, I don't know.
Okay. So, the requirements, because it went down 2 grades, the requirements for the job are full, is that?
I think that the major changes went from having a degree or a background in accounting down to
Mhm.
just administrative type of duties. So
Okay.
I think that was a major wordsmithing on that description. I think it's still a 2 or 3 page. I
I would
would assume.
assume it would. Leslie, we'll get you a copy. Yeah, I know that they were working on it, and
Yeah,
the only one I saw was the actual posting, so.
yeah, me too, so. Interesting question. We don't know everything. We just know some
A
of the
work
things.
in progress.
The main thing, you're right though, the main thing came out of it was the accounting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much for coming in, Leslie. Have a good evening.
I had called this,
Excuse me?
so I had called this Kristen
I'll be in,
Chamberlain
yes,
yesterday.
we'll be in touch.
She said she couldn't make it tonight because children.
Okay.
And she said she'd be available either tomorrow morning or next day. So I don't know if you want to do anything with that.
I don't know. Would you have any time to sit down here in the department?
Won't be tomorrow.
I can call her and see if there's any time.
Okay, not once in the year on my schedule.
I think we have interviewed 3 very fine candidates.
Yeah, I do too.
So we should let it go at that.
Well, I don't wanna do that. I'd like to just get everybody involved, or anybody here, so. I don't wanna be fair about it. We picked out, screened out, I think 4 or 5.
Right.
We got 4 in here tonight, or is this the 4th one?
So we got 3 tonight, and the other one did not respond to us.
Okay.
No.
I just think, we're hiring 1 out of Molly, and we've, gone through 3, interviews, where do you draw the line?
Well, we kind of called them up and invited them in for interviews,
All
so.
right,
Okay, so
okay.
I think what we gotta do is be fair about it, get everybody in, regardless of maybe if we have one commissioner down here at the department to speak with both, John and Laura, that should be good. And then I could take one too, or whatever we can come up with at the time.
You know, this tells me what the economy is out there. Some of these candidates are looking
Yeah.
for this job with their education.
So, Christine from Ipswich, she would be available tomorrow.
That's what she said. Or the next morning.
Thursday morning would be better for me.
You wanna see if she can come in Thursday morning?
Okay.
And I think it'd probably be at least probably a half hour of your time still. Sit down with you and John and
Let me know how you make out, John.
Okay.
and then the other person,
Didn't call us back.
didn't call you back, so, offer her or him an opportunity to come in. And maybe it'd be like a first thing in the morning for me to get, in and out,
Okay.
okay? And then, what we ought to do is, maybe, how do you feel about, holding a meeting next week or the week after as far as getting this thing decided upon, so.
Not next week. Following would be fine with me.
Okay, so the next meeting we can look at is
Did we interview this one before? Did we interview this one before?
August 27th.
I
Okay.
don't remember it,
Okay.
So that's what we'll do, is we'll bring the other two candidates in, or if we have a dark horse come in at the last minute,
Okay.
that looks really
In
good.
2 weeks?
Within this week, I hope, and then,
Oh, okay.
and then we'll check on, John, you're gonna have to call up and check the references if we, narrow it down to a few people, okay? All right. Does that sound like a game plan? So Karen, is the one that didn't call. We don't know
I just
yet.
called her this afternoon, so.
Okay. So I make a motion that we'll make a decision on this on the 27th with these candidates. Do I have a second?
Looking at the calendar. That's 2 weeks from tonight.
Yep.
Second.
All in favor?
Fine.
All right, so now we get into the billing thing here.
Oh, you have the abatement there, Tim, did you sign that? We just need that,
Okay.
that one you approved last week. Or last week.
All right, what do I sign?
There's just 2 of them there, I usually give one to the resident, just right. Used to be able to sign over there.
Now, on the form
Over
it
here
says,
is water commissioner.
do I sign on the bottom?
Yeah, they do the same, I just did one to us, an office copy, and one to the resident.
All right, so change for the following cause or reason, it says AX in parentheses.
Yeah, so it's an adjustment due to a leakage, we don't have a code for that.
Well,
Tim?
can we put a cause or reason on the form here?
Sure, we can write that in.
So what did you call it?
Well, it was because of a leak.
Do I sign 2 things here?
Yeah.
Does Stewie sign?
And we'll add Carol Powers back to the 2 weeks from now? For her abatement?
Yep.
Okay.
We'll talk about that again. What was the total amount that she was over?
So,
Her normal reading?
she used 20,000 gallons more.
Okay. Alrighty, Ms. Sandpace up here. Okay, so we got on to this right here, right?
Yep.
Okay, so AT&T. Amesbury Industrial Supply. Okay.
I'll call Dan Stefanski, the chair on the restoration committee, to comment, to see when he gets started, wants to get started on the spigots.
Stu, they did drop a plan off for you, just so you know.
Have you seen it, John?
Looking at what we're calling this,
Do you have the material yet?
map of a plan of action.
Do you have the material yet?
I don't know how many feet in this one, we'll give it a
You don't wanna put a backhoe up there around the corner. You know, if I can make too much of a mess, the ditch witch will be fine.
Yeah.
It'll go down about this deep.
What says fluoride, John?
I think that's part of the sampling regimen.
We sample for fluoride, even though we know fluoridate the water?
Yeah, some places are known to have high fluoride. We had a place in Manchester that was actually 5 parts per million, naturally occurring. It's way over the limit.
Well, we have, our water supply, has anybody had a fluoride problem with it, or what? Huh?
I've known people with private wells with
Yeah,
trouble.
this is not a private well, this is.
Right.
That's not really in there, so. That's lawn mowing.
I'm in no business speaking of mowing. How are we doing on hydrants, John? I'm getting complaints from these hydrants, you can't see them.
It's been out there, ask them to get up on the lawn roll and get back on the roads.
I would think the hydrants will be a higher priority. I realize the grass is growing like blazes this year.
It is.
With all the rain.
So we got the,
I just think of the fire in some of these hydrants, you cannot see them.
okay, so we got, a fuel bill here for the month. It's $489. How are we making out with our budget on the fuel thing?
We're doing fine, we're at 11%,
11%?
Yeah, overall right now. You know, we got Glenn now driving, so we're picking up a truck. You know, the last 2 weeks, so we'll watch it now.
Yeah. All right, so this was due today. Are they gonna get terribly upset downtown?
I called them, they're holding a slot for us. That's all I can say. They're due 10 o'clock on Tuesdays.
How we doing with inventory? We got a good inventory now, John?
Yeah, we could probably restock a few things, I think. We can use some hardware.
Okay, I held this one up last week, Stewie, but it was actually 2 jobs. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, that's my page.
Oh, yeah,
Still going.
finished, okay.
Okay, Weston and Sampson's. This is for the,
Line.
our, maintaining the licensed operators, right?
Yes.
What was it last month?
These are a little higher because we had that, more on call, and we had that well that was, I think you were notified, it was $11,000 last month.
Still, they did, we were lucky to have them, you know? And they gave us good rates.
You're working over in Georgetown right now.
Yeah. Still. What's this thing?
That's the, for John's.
Okay. Is that gonna go in here?
No, that comes out of the treatment plan. It's a different, it's a different account number,
Okay.
you notice?
All right.
Why are we getting a bill from Biomarine in Gloucester? The bill's made out to Groveland Water Department.
Oops. I have to check on that, Stu. I wonder if they just had the wrong town.
It was the time.
I'm not signing my name to $2,719, electric bill.
Can you go get the last month's bill, or
Yeah,
let's take a look at that,
let's check that email.
the last month before that? Where's the other, is there only one page in that?
All I see.
You didn't even sign that one, John. I missed that one, man. Where's this?
That's for the moment.
There was another, bill there on the,
It's not, here's the bills.
Sample schedule. See if those are the right ones. UOCs.
geez, I remember signing one of those things. I don't see my signature on that bill. Unless ours is on the back, but it's on the list here, still.
Jim. Can I get gas? Gas. I would like the vehicle number put down here. So we know where the gas is going.
Just hold that out for a minute, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Just hold it out here until they come back. Is there any other Biomarine in there?
I haven't seen any yet.
John, on this fuel bill, question number one really would be, have we done anything about procurement as far as, getting a good fuel cost like the police department? Have we done any work in that area?
It's- you mean
We were under the
Gas.
assumption, well, we were under the assumption earlier on in the year that we had procured a fair or real good deal on fuel.
Right.
And then we discovered that we weren't on the same program as the town.
Right, this is gas discount
So
on the invoice.
have we gone in have we moved in any direction to procure a good fuel cost, either from Knowles or the Noonan station up there at the corner?
I've never asked them, if they would give a discount. All the town vehicles usually go to Knowles.
Well, Knowles doesn't give us a discount. They give us
They
regular
did,
price.
yeah.
They take the taxes on it.
That's a tax thing.
Oh,
So the police department went through a process to get fuel for their vehicles. Maybe you weren't here, maybe you were out sick at that time, but what transpired, maybe you weren't here, is that we thought we were getting a discounted price.
right.
It's like a sole source price that we were, getting it, and then we found out that we're not getting a discount because nobody procured it. So that's, when we looked at the bill and found out that we weren't getting a discount, when we finally looked at the bill in detail, we found out we weren't getting a discount. That we weren't on a discounted program. So at this point, going forward, we need to look at getting some pricing on getting some procurement going as far as getting a good fuel price.
Right.
And as a matter of convenience, we have Knowles, of course, down the corner there. We got the station on the corner of 133 and Route 1. And what will be the next closest station we could
I
get?
think Debbie was gonna look into Richdale's.
Richdale's? Okay.
I
So
think
the
that was
three local stations to see if we can get a price on it. And I would like you to do it. I would like you to talk to Debbie and see what kind of a form you could give to these people or advertise. You have to advertise it as procured or whatever. I'd like you to do that to find out what the best price we can get. You need
So
a-
we'll just pull that one out and I'll check with her. I just emailed her.
I would like this on the gas. Gas. I would like to know where the vehicle goes numbered here.
So do we have gas receipts,
I have all the receipts. I can.
but they don't, would it be too much to ask them to do it and make it easy for us?
I could ask Pam and see. Sure.
Okay. I'm not trying to add to your daily.
Yeah, I can do it. I mean, we get all the receipts.
Well, I know you can,
yeah.
but I think it'd be easier if
Mm,
they did it and we had the cash receipts
Yeah,
to check it. So in other words, it's their bill. We don't want to alter their bill. We want them to give us a bill with,
sure.
And then the biomarine,
Just pull it out, Tim, and I just checked her email. The invoice numbers match up our samples. I'm just wondering if she typed the wrong name on it.
well, yeah, maybe. So can you easily look back there and find out when we had a bill for $2,700 to see if
Oh,
we did?
sure, yeah, we have a lot of bills for 27.
No, I mean, from biomarine.
Sure, I can print it all. I could bring it to
So
them.
just take a look at it right now
Yeah.
and quickly, and,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
because it might be, I'd like to know whether this is just an address glitch or it's a Raleigh glitch. So,
Just when the employees the gas and they sign the slip.
Right here, Tim, is on
Be nice
June
if the right
27,
number of the truck on it.
was
Usually
$2,600.
they used to do that, they used to put the truck number right on it,
It's like every third bill, it seems, they're in, you know,
So they, obviously, every
so.
third month, they're doing more testing.
like the lead and copper, they're gonna do 50, you know, this could be a bigger bill this month,
Yeah, but I mean, every third month, they might
Yeah,
have a
quarterly.
schedule.
quarterly.
The quarterly bill might be, so what was it before?
They usually, you know, we're just testing for quote form, it's usually like $50 or something.
Oh, I know that, but on the heavy bills, the $2,700 bills, what are they? Are they 2,700 or like,
26, what is it, I just looked, what was it, June, what did I say it was? I don't know. I'll have her, give us a schedule maybe of what we've done in the past. That would be helpful.
no, I don't want any more payment, I just want to, I'm glad that Stewie caught it, but I think it's an accurate bill, I think they just got the wrong address on it, but.
I know, but all, you cannot sign a,
No,
you
that's,
cannot sign a bill with Groveland Water Department.
No.
You didn't, John, I didn't either. Okay, but we were gonna sign this warrant thing, and I,
just cross it off and we'll bring it back in 2 weeks. 26/17/15
what's that?
is 26.
So that the,
I don't see it on here, do you?
Is that-
Some bill.
okay, don't mess that up, I don't wanna mess up your system.
Scratch out. Now we have to subtract that from the total.
There's no total on it. You gotta work the total up.
I'll do that, I'll fix it.
Well, 2719.50 minus 24, come on, the other,
Okay.
the other number.
Hit me with it, what is
John,
it?
get a calculator.
24,161.31 minus
Wait a minute,
2719.5.
say that again.
So it started with 26.
24,161.31
He's putting me on the spot.
minus 2719.50.
24,161 point,
I don't know, ask John.
point
Got your iPhone,
Yeah.
get a phone.
minus
2719.50.
2719.50. 21,441.81.
That's what I was gonna say.
Okay, that takes care of that. So Laura, you can come in 10 minutes late.
I gotta make copies of it before, so I better come in a little earlier, so I can get it over there. All right, we'll find out what buyer really listed, sorry about that. I should have caught that.
Leave it to Stewie to,
This is what happens when I work past 6 o'clock. When I put 11 hours in, this is what happens.
Check that.
That's what I was trying to do in my head.
No.
okay, so,
You have one more there to sign, Tim, and then I just have one thing. I just want to give you an update on.
okay. Oh, and this one here, you're gonna sign that. Whose pen is this?
Mine.
Boy, I like that one, Stu.
They put a string on it.
You got mine. Okay,
What's this one?
Mr. Hargraves is Bill.
Want to buy it, sure.
Laura's got better pens.
Not me. Unless they come in the mail for free.
Look at this one, that's pretty lame. You know. Okay. So can you check on that this week as far as the fuel bill? Because I don't wanna talk about it.
Yep.
I wanna step in the right direction on that, John. We talked about it a while back, I don't wanna do a research project on what we did in the past.
I know, or didn't the town do that after the,
I think they were gonna look into it, and I personally didn't follow up on that. Debbie was gonna do it for the town,
yeah,
because it was brought to our attention after. It was just the highway department, just the light department and police.
Well, the light department got one.
They got some other situation,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so I'd like to see some progress on that area. On the new business, I was looking at, something was brought to my attention this week. I think what we gotta do is, I'm not sure if it's already a policy, but it should be and I don't wanna do the research to find out what, but it would seem to me that anything going out of this office, John, should be under your signature. You're representing the water department. So any kind of correspondence coming out of here should be, by John Rez, the superintendent. A letter went out with the assistance for our lead and copper program, a dear resident letter. And it's on your stationery, but, Laura Hamilton, the business manager, shouldn't be signing this, it should be you, okay?
all right.
That's very important, that your our figurehead for this department in the town should be the superintendent. And for many reasons. Sometimes the board signs letters and it goes out, but, we want, to have, the highest degree of accountability for these kind of letters coming out of this office, and that's you, so. I don't wanna go back and finding out if there was ever a protocol for that, but I'm sure there was, but I don't wanna start researching it. I just want, from going forward from here on out, the superintendent is the spokesperson for the department regarding matters of, all matters. Okay, do you have any ideas on that, Stone?
I thoroughly agree.
And why did this letter go out without you signing it, John?
Just the way it's printed up, I guess.
So you make sure that that's followed from here on out?
Yep.
And then that's a motion. And do I have a second on that motion?
So,
All in favor?
I,
Aye. All right, old business, update on research of private water department, privatization of water department. I tried calling that gentleman this week, I think he was on vacation, so he didn't return the call, so. I'll try to get Whitewater to come into one of our meetings in the next couple of meetings, okay? Any updates on your end, with the other?
I've had a call from the gentleman to see how we're doing, and I mentioned to him that you had
Yeah,
another gentleman
okay,
coming in to talk to us.
all right.
And he'd be more than happy to come in here to talk to us, the company, that we went to visit. If we wanted him to, this step we should take is the gentleman you talked to have him come in and talk to us,
Okay,
present his ideas.
all right,
Hey, Tim, I got a question.
sure.
What methodology or how are you measuring these people? I know, you know, in past discussions, we talked about the highest quality water at the lowest possible price, but, I mean, these people aren't bringing in their own water. They're gonna use Raleigh water, and they're gonna use our facilities and stuff like that. So what are you looking for?
To answer your question, Larry, we're doing the research for the best interest of the residents of the town of Raleigh.
But
How it
as
plays
measured by what?
How it plays out, we do not know at this time.
My feeling is that it'd be an economic and a service type of concern about whether it would make more sense to go privatization versus maintaining our staff. So if I am looking into it, I'll be looking at the finances of it, and it would have to be comparing apples to apples. So it's really easy to get sidetracked on these comparisons of budgets in the area of water treatment or service or distribution. So it'd be something that I would have to sit down with, you know, somebody that can look at the numbers, and maybe you want to be a party to that. You know, I was thinking about the financial review team downtown. They have them look at it with me. And then, of course, it would be, you know, to find out about what are they talking about? Is it really a cost savings, or is it something that may be something that might blossom into something more expensive? I don't know. At this point, I'm not sure.
But I know that you've been looking at Pennachuck, but did you know that Pennachuck is owned by the city of Nashua?
We are aware of that.
Yeah.
So really, they're not a private entity, as you would think.
As Tim mentioned, we're exploring the opportunities out there. There are a few companies out there. Like Tim has talked to Whitewater. He's trying to get a hold of the gentleman to have him come in, speak with us. Like I said earlier, a few minutes ago, it's early in the game. We just want to do the best for the town. How it plays out, we do not know yet. We're researching.
Okay, but you know, it still sounds like I don't know how you can compare Whitewater to what we have now, as far as making any type of a good comparison.
Well, we don't, but that's why we want to speak to him, and as Tim said, compare apples for apples.
We're trying to do the research so we can go to the next step if we want to come up with, is this feasible or not? So, I mean, we're still I mean, they are impressive organizations that do it, so. But I don't know about the cost expenses. We talked to, Salisbury, and then they seem to be happy with it.
Well, Salisbury is also run by Pennachuck.
Right.
And Pennachuck Corporation basically has the 31 utilities in New Hampshire, but they specifically have Pennachuck Water Systems Corporation, which is composed only of Nashua and Salisbury as a separate entity.
And they do the billing for Amesbury.
Well, they do a lot of stuff all over, but as far as the water treatment is concerned, the Pennachuck Water Corporation is separate from the Nashua Salisbury. Now, I don't know why that might be, because the rest of Pennachuck Corporation is regulated by the state of New Hampshire, and maybe Nashua is somehow getting away with their regulation by owning their own water place.
I see what you're saying, but, the exercise is to see if we can compare apples to apples regarding this issue. And I'm not so sure that any particular community, that's why I've asked John to look at other Paul membrane type systems and within 500 miles to find out what their situation is, as far as operating a similar situation with, how many customers we have?
1,700.
1,780, so, we got a dynamic up there in Salisbury that's different than us. They have a population in the summertime that goes fourfold, I think it is, so. I don't know, so it's gonna be the difficulty in analyzing this is gonna be in trying to, figure out how we can normalize the expenses of operating, like Salisbury versus this, and see if it's a benefit to us. We also have a bad baseline with us. We have our budgets that we deal with and how successful we are in meeting our budgets, and we know what our operating cost is, but then this glitch we've had in the last 6 months is kind of hard to go forward. But then the other glitch, or the other thing we're faced is when we start up next March or April, a new treatment plant, we're going to have another thing there we're going to be dealing with as far as seeing what the benefit of that is. So it's not an easy answer tonight to give, but we're at this point, both Stewie and I and Roy, I believe, is, for, investigating it to see what the best situation is for the customers. If you want to get involved in that, that's something we would welcome.
We're very open-minded about this. It's not just Pennachuck, like I said, there's several companies out there. If one can give the service to the Raleigh residents that they're receiving now, and we save $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year, we'd be foolish not to. We don't know. We're exploring.
Right, but I almost see it as replacing what you have here with, some other corporation type of a thing. So all you're doing is just replacing the personnel with a different set of personnel.
You'd be keeping a couple of employees around if they, whatever company it may be, chose to hire them. If they made the cut, fine. If they didn't, I'm sorry. But we have to do what's best for the residents.
I understand that. I just,
Nothing, as I've said a few times, nothing ventured, nothing gained. We're just in the research stages right now.
you know, because when I try to compare Pennachuck with Rowley, it doesn't compare easily.
No, it's not
And-
supposed to.
Then I have to wonder, how can you make any type of recommendation if you can't compare the two? But I mean, I certainly say, you know, if, you know, go ahead with what you're doing.
Another way to look at
I
it,
just-
Larry, is that, you know, if we had another 5,000 customers, we would have lower rates. We'd have to produce more water, so it's a dynamic situation. So we're looking for operating a safe water system against trying to get the cost down as much as we can. So everybody's concerned about the cost. The cost has experienced quite an increase because of this demand we've had to have for a new treatment plant. So everybody's concerned about the cost. It's our duty to look at options, and that's what we're doing.
I understand that.
So I don't believe there's any predetermination here. It's just we're looking at this as with open eyes. And you know,
Some of these companies are very efficient. If they can do the same job for less money. That leaves to be determined.
Right.
Of course,
I mean, you
town
don't,
meeting, if we
you don't
keep
know
this-
how their efficiency is because they have a lower pay scale or whatever type of thing.
They're
So-
union employees. I know Pennachuck Union.
well, they probably have union and non-union.
Yeah, but I mean,
It's such a moving target, so that's why.
Pennachuck is, I don't think, a good example because it's owned by New Hampshire. They had a
Whitewater might be better.
3% increase in their customer base and they still lost 1.1 million.
They lost money?
Yes.
Are they subsidized by the tax rate up there, which is all really tied into real estate value?
It's, again, their rates are set by New Hampshire.
So they have
but
a,
not Nashua or Salisbury.
so they have mandated rates for water up there in New Hampshire?
Yes.
Okay, so I didn't know that, so,
And in fact, there's some of the towns like Londonderry that might have 3 different sub-districts that might have different rates.
well, would you be able to help us out with looking at this? I mean, would you be interested?
Sure. I mean,
Okay,
I'm already kind of.
I know you
looking at
are,
stuff,
so I'm
but-
glad that you're looking at that. I appreciate the help on it, so.
This particular company, that Joe, you mentioned, been around for 160 years. Tells me something.
Yeah, tells me that also they just got bought out January 25th, 2012. So it's a whole different,
Well, we don't know if
Playing
we don't
field.
look into it. Like, I'll tell you one thing right now. No way does this water department need 7 trucks. Is that efficient? I don't think so.
well, you know, maybe that's what needs to be looked at rather than, you know,
We're doing the
finding
best we
something else.
can.
No,
We're
no,
trying,
no,
and that's
no.
all we can do, Larry.
Right, and all I'm saying is that I can't figure out where you're going. I hope you know.
Well,
No, just-
the other company we're looking at is RH White, and their water division is called Whitewater. And we're gonna hopefully get them in the next couple of weeks. I don't know if there's any other companies out there. Roy did some research, and he brought, 2 or 3 companies in here, 2 I know. And when I asked him the question about how how big of a company do you guys deal with? And we were so small, they weren't even.
Right, I remember that.
Remember
Yeah,
that?
three
Yeah.
companies in, and basically we were,
And they're the ones that, that recommended RH White, so, you know.
right.
That tells me that they're gonna be so expensive, it isn't even worth looking at. They're not gonna waste the time putting a bid on us, but we would have to ask them anyway. So maybe, who knows, you know? But, that's if it ever goes to that degree, is asking for bids. But, so, these fellows coming in should be able to tell us and show us the budgets for the communities they run. And it might be a company out in New York, we haven't even heard of at this point, that might have a better handle on presenting what kind of a cost it is to deal with a private company to provide safe water to their customers. But we don't know, because we got a real moving target, because we don't even know what our operating costs are gonna be really for this treatment plant. We're just guesstimating it right now,
Right.
you know? At the initial onset of everything, they figured a loader to come in and clean out the lagoons. And that's probably not gonna be the case. You know, we don't need a loader, but so, that we know of yet, because we might be wrong. But we can't get concrete answers on.
Larry, a $50 million plant, I want a professional to run that.
I agree with you, but, you know,
I think we can run it. To be honest with God, I think that we got the people that can run that plant.
I think so too.
So,
At least you should be hiring people that can
for
run
me,
that
it's gonna
plant,
be a financial
because
decision.
it's gonna be a couple of years or so before we can turn it over, or before you can turn it over. And, you know, I certainly, I'm not trying to put the kibosh on your looking.
Yeah.
You know, I just can't see
No,
what you're looking for.
I think that you should
Other
get,
than just
you
a
should get,
replacement.
I think you should come in and then help us with this, because, you know, we're looking at it with open eyes. It's not really gonna be up to us, it's gonna be up to the
No.
town voters. And
Right.
it'll be up to whoever recommends it. It'll be the voters here are a smart group of people. They wanna know how much money they're gonna save, or what are we gonna sacrifice. So it might mean, you know, it might come on down to a scenario where there's no change in the cost, but the service aspect of our, you know, personalized service of our customers might be sacrificed. And so it might be a decision like that, I don't know.
We'll put all the cards on the table. The town meeting can decide. We've done a job. If they want it, fine. If they don't, that's their choice.
And then, you know, you can't really, it's almost like you would have to solicit, you know, bids to be able to come up to a town meeting, to come up with a figure that, you know, somebody could look at, because I wouldn't recommend it unless we knew what the figures were. So, but I think, I'm glad that you're looking into it, you know. I think that's good, you know, that we have, maybe you could look into this RH White for us too.
Sure, I'll look into them.
Yeah, and I'm hoping to have him here next meeting, if not the following meeting. They're very accommodating people, but they're also in business, so. But I didn't know that Penachuk they're owned by Nashua?
Nashua owns all the stock.
They own all the stock to the company, or Nashua owns the plant?
They own all of the stock. They acquired it for about $29 a share, about 138 million.
So how do they fund that?
I have no idea.
Smart move with Nashua's part.
So they went out and they bought a private company to run their public water supply.
Right. But from what I can gather, everybody, all the other 31 towns that they serve are regulated by New Hampshire.
Well, we're all regulated by the government. I mean, we're regulated by the state of Massachusetts.
Well, New Hampshire and Salisbury are a different sub-corporation, and I can't
Well, it might be
figure
a
out.
corporate rule or a corporate law, or it might be profit versus non-profit, I don't know. But as far as the quality of water, which is the pinnacle of what we're concerned about, is it going to be the state, the DEP and the state regulations to provide safe water. It's the cost that, you know, that the customer.
Right, but I think, with the treatment plant, will meet the DEP requirements, whoever is running it. I mean, we have to.
They're still gonna have to have
It's all gonna be a question of.
a primary operator and a secondary operator on the ticket for that plant, regardless if they're state, private employees or union employees or town employees.
Right.
It's just a license. They gotta be qualified to run that plant. So. And we're regulated like New Hampshire's regulated. They have to have safe water. Our requirements are probably a little more strict than New Hampshire.
Right, that's why I think Pennachuck doesn't operate outside New Hampshire, except for some reason that they picked up Salisbury. But, I mean, either way, we'll get approved water, whether we run the plant or somebody else, Whitewater, Pennachuck, whoever. Unless for some reason, we'll say Whitewater has something super special in their chemical, whatever arsenal that they have that makes the water better than the EPA minimums. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
But
Well, we're gonna have, I met with the Board of Health last night, and I stated that we were gonna have safer water, and probably gonna have, the taste of the water is gonna be better with this treatment. That's the two things that we're gonna offer with this treatment plant.
We're looking at the whole picture, Larry.
I realize that. I just-
Will we privatize? How much of the department we privatize? Or we don't privatize?
I think we should move on to the next subject. With no objections. Discuss Town Common and Havel Street gate valve. John?
I think we were just talking about that, so.
Excuse me?
I think you were just talking about that with the,
You need to call Dig Safe on
we're gonna call, yep. I have
the
it down
comment.
for the,
Okay. If you look at the plan, is that the plan up there, Laurie?
Yeah, it is,
Look at over an audio material. Would be appreciated.
Where I highlighted the new spigots, these are all gonna be new ones.
Yeah, the spigot there, the gazebo, and you have one down here on the old
Oh, you
Okay,
got- You
spigot.
get spigots all over the place.
Well, not that bad. One.
We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
All right, this one's existing,
6.
it's a fountain. That one's existing.
5.
No problem.
Yeah. Now, these new trees going in,
Yes,
and then what happened to the old trees? Are they just,
they meant to
diseased?
chainsaw.
I saw that, it looked like a tornado went through there.
You have to destruct to construct.
Oh,
I don't know why.
And do you know some of the trees were diseased?
Yeah,
it
they're
looked like a tornado went through, didn't it?
in tough shape. Maples, they, were on the decline age. Pretty tough. Couple of them, they put the chainsaw in. It's hollow in the middle, right through.
Yeah,
This will be beautiful this time.
yeah. sure,
Wait,
wants
wait
to.
for a couple of years.
Okay, so what are we looking at this for, so?
We're looking at the pipe and the fittings and the spigots.
So is pipe gonna be run all the way around the perimeter here?
To get to the spigots,
Is it gonna be plastic, or is it gonna be,
Plastic
either
sheet.
put blue water pipe.
Yeah.
what is it?
Yeah, blue water pipe plastic.
Okay. Irrigation?
With the water on it.
Is it gonna have a meter on it?
What would you have here, John? 3/4?
I guess you could use some water.
Any water in the trees? How's the pressure in this area?
Should be fairly good. 8, maybe.
Is it gonna have a meter on it? Is there a meter out there now?
No.
You know, this is for a couple of years until the trees are well established. Previous board, Scott Meaton, excuse me. I'll get it today. Scott Martin came to a meeting with the trees and offered to donate the services of the water department for these.
Yep.
And that was very nice of you gentlemen.
Yeah, but the only reason I'm asking about a meter not is to collect capital for this, is just to know if there's a leak there or not.
Put me on it. It's only safe from May to October. Then John and one of the employees come by with a compressor and blow them out like you do at the cemetery.
So that's the
Or
reason.
they did- Oh, John came, you came to some meeting.
I came to
Yeah,
Okay.
I think you were with Scott there.
So was a meter needed to make sure we don't have any loss of water or not?
That would probably be a good idea.
Or would we just look for a big wet spot on the, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's all sand under there. It'll be a while before you have wet spot.
Right, so we should probably be careful with the conservation there, you know? And then do we have any, you know, can we put it on an old-fashioned meter and have somebody just check it every year? We don't charge them for money, for water, right?
What's
Because
that?
it's a community thing, we don't charge them for water.
Well, this.
I don't wanna charge for water.
Maybe it
For
doesn't
a
have-
price like, for a project like this.
Well, I'm just saying, the price of a water meter is pretty expensive today. We use one of the old meters, and it had stipulation that somebody just monitors that.
You
Yeah.
have an old one on the shelf, John?
I'd have to go out and see if we can. see
You'd probably come up with something.
Could be something out there.
All right. Do you agree? Tim, do you agree?
With
If
what?
the water department rents a ditch which, when you walk behind, just to buzz around here, instead of putting a backhoe up there making a mess. My son's dad over the cemetery, 3 or 4 years ago,
Well, is it,
worked slept, go right around now.
well, the dog guy down the street has a ditch witch. It makes sense to maybe, you know, see what he can charge and maybe get some,
Does he ever, when you walk behind, a regular ditch witch?
he does the dog fence all the time. You know the guy with the dog fence thing?
I know what you mean. I can ask him.
I'm just thinking, I'm throwing out the ideas still.
I like to, I understand.
I'm ready to go home.
I just have one thing.
I just would like this done sooner than later,
Okay.
ASAP.
Okay,
Do we agree?
I agree. Hold it.
We'll all be delighted with this project.
Oh, I'm sure, that's an asset. I'm sure everybody will be happy with it. It'll be beautiful. That common's quite a common thing. It really is a beautiful common.
After the owners died and cut down, Mr. Wayne Haley used to live next door to Ridgedale. He dug the maple trees out of the woods in back of his house by the cemetery, the saplings, and he went over there with a drum back of his pickup and kept them watered for the first couple of summers. Pretty nice.
That was nice of him. Who was that?
His name was Wayne Haley. He lived next door to Ridgedale.
Okay.
So I just have one thing, Tim. On Friday, the Welcome to Raleigh sign is coming to Well One.
Yeah,
Stu, you weren't on the board when the board voted for the Chamber of Commerce. We're gonna have a beautiful sign, with a pineapple, welcome to Raleigh, and then some of the businesses in the historic district. They're gonna be installing that on Friday, so I just wanna let you know if you see anything going on. It was an approved project by this board, the Selectmen, Historic Commission, and whoever else is in charge of putting up signs.
And where is that from?
It's gonna go right at Well One at 133, and it's gonna be a beautiful sign. And it'll just direct people downtown to the historic district.
great.
So, I just wanna give you guys an update on that.
Thanks, Laura.
Okay.
All right,
That's it.
anything else?
That's it for me.
We have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion. We adjourn.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.